Hello, welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to run through the Club Nebula collection, which is a collaboration between Kaleidos Makeup and Angelicanyquist here on YouTube. So if you're interested in hearing about the collection, just keep watching. Alright, so this isn't going to be as in-depth of a review as my previous Kaleidos review, just because I've only had this palette for a little over 2 weeks, so this is just going to be my sort of initial thoughts, some swatches, product details, and 2 looks of course as well using the palette. So I want to start off by saying that I didn't actually buy this, I actually won it. So Kaleidos were doing a virtual Valentine's pageant. It was a competition on Instagram where for a week leading up to Valentine's Day, Kaleidos challenged people to make a Valentine's look using Kaleidos products, and then they picked a winner each day for a week. And I was one of those winners, and for the winners they sent the full Club Nebula collection. So that's how I got this collection. But nevertheless, I'm going to give you my honest thoughts anyway. So starting off with some background to this collection. So it is of course a collection made by a YouTuber here, Angelicanyquist, in collaboration with Kaleidos Makeup. Angie is one of my favourite YouTubers to watch. I've been watching her for a while now, and she's actually the person who introduced me to Kaleidos in the first place. So I think it's fantastic that she got the opportunity to collaborate with a brand that she loves. So in terms of what's actually in this collection, there is the Club Nebula palette, which is $45. I think that's around £32. And then there's a deck of cards, which is $5, and it's got custom art on all of them, which is really cool. I believe each order that contains the Club Nebula palette comes in a custom shipper like this. There are 2 sizes, large and small, depending on how big your order is. And can I just first of all highlight how stellar the packaging is? Absolutely incredible. I love the whole theme. The artwork is utterly beautiful. It's this wonderful box which opens out like this, which had the products inside as well. So absolutely impeccable packaging. As expected from Kaleidos, the designs are just absolutely wonderful. All the details along the side of the palette, the holographic bits, everything is just so beautiful. So as I said before, this palette is $45, which I think is a very fair price given the impeccable packaging. Like, everything is so well made, but also what you're getting inside the palette as well, which I'll go into more detail when we actually take a look at the shades in the palette. So this whole collection is restocking soon on April the 14th, 8 PM PST. Alright, let's move on to the actual palette details. So the Club Nebula palette has 15 gorgeous shades in it. So within the palette there are 2 multichromes, and these are Astro and Celestial. Astro is a royal blue with warm violet and teal shifts, whereas Celestial is a hot pink multichrome with fuchsia and golden shifts in it. Then there are also 3 duochromes. On the carton that the palette came in, it says 3 duochromes and 1 metallic shade, but then on the website it lists 4 duochromes, so I guess we'll just go with the website for now. The duochrome shades are Firefly, You're My Only Hope, Nova, and Nebula. And then the rest of the shades are 9 mattes. I absolutely love the naming of the shades. I believe Angie said that she named them after certain sci-fi films and shows that she loves, and also gaming characters as well, because she's also a gamer. I absolutely love the theme behind the palette because I also love the sci-fi genre. The Expanse, which one of the shades is named after a rock copper, is one of my favourite sci-fi shows ever, and coincidentally I'm also a gamer as well, so yeah, I just absolutely love the whole theming of this palette, and it's really right up my street. I do also want to mention that there are 6 pressed pigments in this palette, so these are shades that are not intended for use around the eye area in accordance with the US FDA regulations. These are the shades Void, Naru, Rock Copper, Cylon, Samus, and Red Giant. Just wanted to highlight those in case you're not a fan of those or you don't want to use pressed pigments. I believe the reason why the FDA does not approve these is because they could possibly stain your eyes. So that's why any palettes that have these kinds of shades in them have that disclaimer. I personally have never had any issue using them, but of course I just want to mention that in case that is important to you. Alright, let's move on to my thoughts on the quality of these shades. So I have used every shade in this palette and I absolutely love the quality in here. I've got to say that these mattes, when they say that they are highly pigmented, truly are. They are some of the most pigmented mattes that I've tried. I was actually quite surprised when I apologise if you can hear fireworks. It is Easter Sunday, so people are celebrating. Anyway, I was very surprised when I first dipped my brush into these. The pigment that you get just from like one dip is pretty intense. So I would say to go in with a light hand with these. Red Giant, which is this deep red shade here, I think is probably my favourite matte in the entire palette. It was just so easy to work with. It is so beautiful, very smooth, and I just, well, maybe I'm biased because red is my favourite colour, but yeah, this shade in particular really appealed to me. All of the mattes I would say in this palette are very smooth feeling. Some of them are more smooth, bordering on sort of creamy feeling than others, but the ones that are the smoothest are 7 of 9, Naru and Samus. Those ones are the most buttery smooth feeling. The darker colourful mattes are slightly more dry feeling. They're not dry, but relative to the ultra smooth ones, they are drier, but still very smooth and easy to work with. This Gravity shade, although it's described as a matte, there's actually a little bit of a sheen to it, which hopefully comes across in the swatches, but it's quite subtle, so I guess it still functions basically the same as a matte, but there is a slight sheen to it. I found the mattes to blend out quite easily too. They are surprisingly easy to work with. They blend out really easily. Although in the second demo, you'll see that I have a little bit trouble with Cylon, this dark purple one, where there was a patch of it being lighter in the wing portion of the look, which is what I've got on right now, but rather than that being the fault of this shade itself, I think that's my fault instead. I was trying to get the wing to match up with the other eye, but it wasn't, so I used a tissue to wipe off that outer portion, and then I just went back in again with the shade without putting a primer on and setting it again. So I think maybe that difference in texture of that section that I wiped off probably caused it to not stick very well and sort of look patchy. So I think that was my fault as opposed to the shade itself being difficult to work with, because I didn't have patchiness anywhere else and I didn't have patchiness before I wiped it off. So yes, the shimmers obviously I absolutely loved. Kaleidos has one of my favourite shimmer formulas, and these ones in the palette especially are more on the sheerer side. They have more of a transparent base, although the shimmers that have a bit more of a base than the others are Astro and Celestial, the two Multichromes. I think these duochrome shimmers look really beautiful with that transparent base, because depending on what coloured matte you layer it on top of, you get a slightly different look and you can highlight different parts of the shift more. So I think that was really cool. The shimmers are of course very smooth. They feel just like Kaleidos's usual shimmer formula. Very sparkly, glimmery. They give you that ultra dimensional cosmic look, which is of course what Kaleidos is all about, and it really fits the theme behind this palette as well. That sort of cosmic, futuristic club event kind of look, I guess. Very beautiful. My favourite shimmers, I'd say maybe Firefly and Nova. Nebula is also really beautiful as well. Yeah, no, I'd say my favourite shimmers are Firefly and Nova. So Firefly is this beautiful sparkly minty green, but it also has this reflect of like a fuchsia sort of red flash. And then Nova is a gorgeous duochrome that's white, but then when you shift it, it's got these sort of lavender blue reflex. It's really beautiful, and that is actually I've got both of them on my eyes right now. Firefly I've got on the lid of this eye, and then I've got You Are My Only Hope and Nova on the lid of this eye. So Really beautiful. They just look like they're glimmering on your eyes. These two multichromes are the first of Kaleidos' multichrome formula that I've tried, and I think they're really beautiful. Although I will say, because they have a slightly sheerer base, I don't think the shifts are that apparent on the eye as, say, if you had one of those black based multichromes like the jeweled multichromes from Clear. So that's it. Those were my speedy initial thoughts on the Club Nebula palette. Hello, let's get into the first look. So I think today I want to do something a bit more lighter and peachy spring toned. With this palette, obviously there is quite a lot of depth, a lot of dark colourful mattes, but I feel like today I'm going to do something light for spring, and I'm really gravitating towards these colours down here. I've already got the rest of my face on, and I've already primed my eyes with the NYX pigment primer. And then I set that with the Revolution Bake and Blot powder. I'm going to start off with the shade Samus, this beautiful peachy orange shade, and I'm just going to apply that in the outer third. Oh, that is such a pretty colour. Actually, let's take that in the inner third as well. So I'm just gently layering it and diffusing it between each layer. Okay, I'm quite happy with the level that it's showing up when I look straight ahead, so I'm just going to repeat this step on the other eye. And I'm just going to go in with a fluffier blending brush and just really diffuse those outer edges. Okay, I think that looks really good. I'm just going to switch to a smaller pencil brush and do the same on my lower lash line. Let's go into Red Giant next, this beautiful deep red shade. I've already used this one before, and the pigment with this shade is impeccable. You only need a very small amount. I might go in with a pencil brush just so that I can really pinpoint the placement of it, so I don't get it everywhere. I'm just going to go in very lightly and dip into Red Giant, and then I'm going to place it where I want it. Look at that. Look at that pigment. I'm just going to place it where I want it in the outer and inner portions, just for a little bit of depth. And I'm just going to very gently diffuse this out. I'm just going to tap into it very lightly with this blending brush, the Red Giant shade. Just a tiny amount on the very end of my brush, and add a bit more on top. I'm just going to go in with a little bit more of this peachy orange shade to diffuse that. I think it's a little darker than I wanted it to be, so I'm just going to add in a little bit more of the peachy brightness on top. Alright, using the same pencil brush, I'm going to dip into Red Giant again and just mimic the placement on the lower lash line again, trying to be a little on the softer side. Oh, I just love how soft and diffused everything is looking right now. It's really, really wonderful. Okay, now for the exciting bit, the shimmer to place on the lid. Let's use Nebula, and then maybe we can top it with a little bit of Celestial just to try them both out. I'm going to go in with a finger because knowing Kaleidos shimmer formulas, it's just more impactful and smooth, and you get less fallout when you're applying with the finger as opposed to going in with the brush. So I'm going to go in with my fourth finger into Nebula in the center. Oh, that is so pretty. I'm going to take Celestial and maybe dab it right in the center of that Nebula shade. Let's add a shimmer in the inner corner. Let's go with Firefly. I think that vibrant spring green will add a really nice contrast to the eye. Oh, that is so yummy. I'm just going to put mascara on, maybe do some liner, and I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. I put on some eyeliner in my waterline. I use this peach eyeliner from Colourpop. I think it's called Peach Fuzz, just in the waterline, and then I applied some mascara, and that is it. I am absolutely loving it. I feel really pretty and nice in it. It turned out really, really nicely. So this is a peachy red sort of halo eye. I will give you a close-up as well. So yeah, that was look number 1. On to look number 2. I've already primed my eyes with the NYX Pigment Primer, and then I set it with the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Powder. So I think I'm going to start off with the blue row first, and I feel like doing something really winged out and sort of smoky since my first look was kind of soft. It was a soft rounded halo eye. I just want to do a different shape and really wing it out. And let's go in with the shade Void, the really deep blue. So I'm just going to go in with the pencil brush, the shade Void, and just really sketch out the shape that I want. Oh, that is such a gorgeous deep blue shade. I'm going to take a little bit more and intensify it closer to the lash line. And then I think I want to do a sort of ombre thing, and I'm going to take the really deep foresty green. It kind of actually matches my jumper, this Queen of Blades colour. Super, super beautiful. I'm going to take that on the pencil brush, and I think I'm going to finish off the rest of the wing and maybe like point it out in the inner corner with the green shade. So we're going to have a very cool, winged out, smoky green fading into deep blue liner. Right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an angled liner brush. This is just one from e.l.f. and I'm going to dip into that forest green shade again, and I'm going to use this to draw a defined inner corner. And then using what's left over, I'm going to drag it on the inner half of my lower lash line. I'm going to go back into Void, the deep blue, and outline the lower lash line. Just look at that pigment. I've cleaned off that angled e.l.f. brush, and I'm just going to dip into Void and join up the lower lash line with the wing. I'm going to go in with a blending brush and slightly diffuse the outer corner. I've cleaned off my pencil brush, and now I'm going to dip into 7 of 9, which is the lighter blue shade. I'm just going to take a very small amount of that, one dab, and I'm going to start blending out the deeper blue portion of the wing. Then I'm going to go back in with the small angled liner brush, dip into Void, the deep blue again, and then just redefine that wing. Okay, so I went in and defined that outer wing and then brought it in further to the center of the eye. I actually really like how that looks. Go back in with the pencil brush because I realized I sort of covered up that 7 of 9 blue shade. Yeah, and I'm just going to go back into this space here and add that blue shade. I think I'm going to do that thing where I've sort of brought in a harsher defined line from the end of the wing with the green portion. So I've loaded Queen of Blades up on the brush. Next I want to dip into Firefly. Let's move on to the other eye. I feel like the difficult thing is going to be replicating this shape on the other eye. Right, so this time I'm going to go in with the purple row and I'm going to dip into Cylon. Then what I'm going to do now is define that outer wing shape with the angled liner brush and that same Cylon shade. I made this wing too angled upwards, so I'm just trying to take some away with a tissue and redraw the wing. So something has happened here where, I don't know if you can tell, there's a lighter patch of purple there. I think it's because when I wiped off the previous wing and tried to reapply it, I think it made the base uneven because I obviously wiped it off. So I'm not sure how to fix that. Maybe I'll just try and go in with a bit of the Void shade, the blue shade that we use on the other eye. And then we're going to go in with Rock Hopper. Now we're going to go into Naru, this really cool toned light beige shade, and pop that right in the centre. So I'm going to go into You're My Only Hope. And then let's dab over the top of that with Nova right in the very centre. Okay, that's that. I think I am done with the eyeshadow. So I'm going to curl my eyelashes, put mascara, and I'll be right back. And here is the finished look. I am very happy with how it turned out. I will of course give you a close-up in a minute as well. I just applied some white eyeliner in my waterline. I tightlined using a brown eyeliner. I also applied the Moon Cruiser highlighter and switched out the lip for a more slightly nude colour. Here's a close-up of the eyes. I'm definitely a fan of the collection and the palette so far. I have made some absolutely beautiful looks with this, and I'm very excited to use this more in the future. The shades also in this palette are really unique. They definitely add something to my collection. I think everything in this collection has been done really well, from the stellar packaging to the shade selection, the shade performance. So with my initial thoughts, I think that if you were interested in picking up this collection during the restock, I would definitely say go for it. If you are interested in these colours, I don't think you'll be disappointed, and I think you'll really enjoy this beautiful packaging and how the shades perform. I believe this is limited edition, and I don't know if there will be another restock after this. So yes, a huge congratulations to Angie for a fantabulous collection, and also a very big thank you to Kaleidos for sending this to me. Alright, that is a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed it or have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. If you want to see more of me, subscribe. Thank you very much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.